Prescott is a underrated quarterback. You know, there's all those Eagles haters and Cowboys haters that always try to put one thing and then just say one thing and just take it over everything else and just make him sound bad. I'm going to prove to y'all that Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Now, Dak Prescott, we're going to go through all his years from 2016 to 2020, and we are going to start off with 2016, his rookie year. Now, let's get right into this. Now, we're going to go from 2016 through 2020, and we're going to start off with his 2016 year, his rookie year, where he led his team to 13-3 and won the division. I think we can all agree he had a pretty good season that year, throwing 3,667 passing yards, 23 TDs, 78.8 QBR, 4 interceptions, and 1 offensive rookie of the year, and went to the Pro Bowl. Pretty good year for a rookie, if you ask me. I don't think you can really argue here for his 2016
Now,
for 2017, he didn't do that good, so I'm just going to skip this, but it was just one season, a few seasons ago, so we're just going to go on to 2018. 2018, the team started off 3-5 and then finished 10-6. Pretty impressive for a team that started off 3-5. Dak Prescott threw for 3,885 passing yards, 22 TDs, 8 interceptions, 56.2 QBR, and went to the Pro Bowl that year. Pretty good year by Rain Dakota Prescott, and yeah, that was a year to remember for him. Oh, and he also beat Carson Wentz twice that year. Now, Dak Prescott, this past season, despite their team going 8-8 with all that went on, this past season was one of his best seasons statistically, believe it or not, and he went off this season statistically, throwing for 4,902 passing yards, 30 TDs, 11 interceptions, 7.2 QBR, and this guy didn't even go to the Pro Bowl. The disrespect is real. I'm telling you, this man is underrated, and I'll get into all of y'all's excuses in a minute. Now, all of y'all may be like, oh, well, Dak, he's only good because he has a good offense, good receivers. Well, I'm going to prove to y'all right now that that's not why. I mean, that does help, but that is not why. Now, I'm going to use a formula. I got the top 9, the teams who the receiving stats are top 9. So I got the teams who receiving stats are top 9, and I got the quarterbacks from every single one of those teams. Okay? I got the quarterback from every single one of those teams, and I am going, that played 15 games, and I'm going to get all the 4 major stats, passing yards, TDs, interceptions, and QBR, and I'm going to add up all the numbers, divide it by 4, and I'm going to get their average, and whoever has the lowest number would obviously be better. So, like, let's say Dak Prescott, second in passing yards, second in TDs, 15th in interceptions, and 4th in QBR. I'm going to add up all those, then divide it by 4. Whatever his number is would be his average in the league. And that would help give us more of a vision of if Dak is really just good because he has good receivers. Because if he's one of the higher ones, then that could be a reason. You know what? Maybe he could still do good on another team with not great receivers. So Phillip Rivers, he was 30th in interceptions, 22nd in QBR, 4th in passing yards, and 15 in TDs. This would put his average at 17.7, meaning that in the league he is average at 17.7, and there's 32 QBs in the league. Rams finished 5th in receiving stats, I believe, and Jared Goff was 3rd in passing yards, 16th in TDs, 28th in interceptions, and 23rd in QBR in the league. And yeah. Okay, so Goff went 17.5, which is better than Rivers. Rivers had the 6th best receiving stats offense, and Goff had the 5th. But, yeah, he beats him by 0.2. Winston, 1st in passing yards, 2nd in TDs. This is where it really blows. Interceptions, 30, 32nd in the league, 16th in QBR. And he probably would be top, like, in the single digits, but due to the interceptions, he is at 12.7. And then with Tom Brady, 7th in passing yards, 13th in TDs, 14th in interceptions, and 17th in QBR for Tom Brady, while his team went 9th in receiving stats. This would put Brady at 12.7 with Winston. I'm not saying they're the same player. I think Brady's better because his team's receiving stats were 9th and Winston was 1st. So Winston already has the advantage there, and Winston just throws way too many picks, like it's unimaginable. Yeet! But with Matt Ryan, 5th in passing yards, He is 8th in TDs, 26th in interceptions, and 14th in QBR. This would put him at 13.2. Winston and Brady are higher, and that's just how it goes right here. The Cowboys were 3rd in receiving yards. Dak was 2nd in passing yards, 4th in TDs, 19th in interceptions, and 4th in QBR. And he got a single-digit number, 7.2, not even close. He was the only person on this list, I think maybe along with Tom Brady, I can't confirm, but they were the only two for any individual stat to not be 20 or worse. So if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what does. So if this doesn't show any type of evidence that Dak could still be good without Gallup and Cooper, then I don't know what to tell you. Or you could be like, oh, well, stats don't matter if you can't win your team games. And I told them, like, dude, I bet Dak has more wins in the past 4 years than your favorite team's quarterback does. Unless you're a Patriots fan, this is facts. And he is 40-24 since entering the league. Now, this was back on September 23rd of 2019, but Tom Brady has 37 wins, Dak Prescott is 35, Drew Brees is 32, Russell Wilson is 31, Big Ben is 31. Since then, it has changed a little bit. I may have messed this up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure these are the quarterbacks who have the top 5 most wins. Brady's number 1 with 46. Dak's tied with Wilson and Brees with 40. Ryan with 34. Goff and Cousins with 33. And Wentz at 32. You cannot tell me that Dak can't win his team games when he has some of the most since 2016. You realize 2019 isn't the only season ever, right? Now let's go back to what I did earlier. Chiefs, they were 4th in passing yards, and the Saints were 7th. And who were their QBs? Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees. But neither of them played all 16 games. Well, look at this. So Patrick Mahomes threw for 4,031 yards through 14 games. Drew Brees threw for 2,979 passing yards. Now, tell me if my calculations are wrong. But what I ended up getting is that Patrick Mahomes will throw for around 4,600 something passing yards, or somewhere around there. If that is true, let's say he would have thrown around there, you'd be like, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes is so good, he would have thrown for more than that. Okay, but he's still 400 yards away. He would have to go off in his final 2 games. And whether we're crazy enough to think that Patrick Mahomes could have still done that. I mean, he's Patrick Mahomes, so you would have never know. But I mean, if Dak Prescott could get at least around there with a quarterback who's considered to be one of the GOATs someday, possibly, I think you could at least admit that Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. And he also had a terrible coach who coached him out of so many games this year. And if you just look at the end of the Saints game where they only lost by 2 points. They only lost to the Patriots by 4 points. Only lost to the Vikings by 4 points. Like, there were so many close games, and if you just watch them, and just all throughout the Jets game, their coach coached them out of the game. He's done all this with Jason Garrett and a rookie offensive coordinator. Even though I do think Kellen Moore is a good offensive coordinator, it's really hard to adjust to someone else's playbook, and Dak Prescott did phenomenal this year stat-wise with a new offensive coordinator, running the whole offense, not just the quarterback, but the whole offense. Despite all their down-to-the-wire games against really good teams, Dak is still 2nd in the league in wins since entering the league. And Drew Brees, yeah, you know the guy who might break the TDs record? Well, according to what I did, he would have had around 4,333 passing yards. So, I mean, just more evidence.